let's kick it off with some NFL news. Rodgers made it official now. He's out for the year. Which coincidentally, I thought, wow, the Jets get blown out by Miami, and all of a sudden, oh, you know what? I can't play. And Ron, all year long, I already told you.
Talk.
He was on the show. The media was all on it. There was tweets, there was tweets of him like in slow motion, throwing the ball. And I kept telling you, this is all hype. This is just him to stay on the news cycle. And now it's official. It was all hype, Ron. It was all hype.
Do you think if the Jets were in a different situation, they were still in it, he'd come back? I don't think he'd come back either way. But.
I don't think any doctor would put their medical certification on the line and clear him to come back. That would be like a huge mistake by him. But yes, I'm glad. Even though this is week 16, I'm glad that he's over it, that we don't have to talk about him. Yes, he can make his weekly Pat McAfee show prediction, but he's out. Ron, the other set of news that I wanted to put in here is Matt Patricia is back in our lives. Or not so much in your life, but in the Eagles' life.
Your life.
What? And you mentioned that this is probably like the NFL just recycling things, but what's going on here? Is it just like free coaches? I know he's still on the contract with the Lions, so he's getting a check. So why the Eagles tap him though?
I don't even know, man. The NFL, like teams are just like too scared. I don't know what, why, but they don't do any work and, make an effort to go out and find new talent. They rather just recycle coaches, like look for someone else who's been there, whether they were successful or not. Just hire them just because they have some experience, and they're afraid, I think, to do anything different. And it sucks for, the NFL sucks for teams that have that way of looking at things.
Like, I know if you were an Eagles fan and you came up to me and you said, hey, we just got Matt Patricia to call our defense. Is it going to be better? I dealt with this guy my whole entire life. Sometimes he can be a hit. Sometimes he can be a not so much. I don't know if this is going to make him any better. But, I mean, he has had success on the defense, not so much in the offense. So maybe it'll work out. Who knows? I just throw my hands in the air. I'm like, yeah, I guess he's back in life.
Give somebody else a chance. That's all I got to say. I know at this scale, your team is still first, right? Still in first place. Still a Super Bowl favorite. You probably don't want to. They probably felt the need to go with someone with experience, but I think at the off season, I think all teams need to take a look at their who's on their staff. Do we have the right people, or are we just taking the same people over and over again that have had their time go by? And I don't know. I think it's teams like the Dolphins, teams like even Houston. I got to give them credit, right? That go out and they're okay to take risks and do something different. That's what I respect.
Yeah, this is if you think outside the box and come up with something new that we haven't seen before, hey, more power to you. I think that you're working in the right space. But if you're doing the Eagles things and you're recycling people just because, you lost a defensive coordinator to Arizona, so now you got to bring in Matt Patricia. Whatever works, man. Whatever works. Okay, this I put it in there because at the beginning of the week, we both disagreed. The KC suspension. Ron, this is your moment. This is your chance. Why is the NFL overstepping on?
Let's just first start off by level setting. The NFL has been awful this year. The officiating on the field has been terrible. In addition to that, the fines that have happened, after game, outside the game, has been atrocious. The fines that players have had has been atrocious, and a lot of players have had to appeal them, and they've won in most cases. They've won their appeals, but the whole system to me is broken. Now, on the KZ play specifically, he got flagged for what I thought was a clean but probably an unnecessary hit. By the rule of the book, he didn't lower his helmet. He didn't leave his feet. He just bent down, used his shoulder pad, but he did hit a guy that was in a compromising position. Now, the guy was diving for the ball. Did he have time to slow up? And even if he did, what's the other option? What can he do in that position to prevent the player from catching the ball? Nothing. It's either hit him or let him catch it, right? So
I think you answered your question yourself earlier when you said what he was supposed to do is just tag him. He's down, tag him.
So let him catch the ball and then tag him.
Because as the John Runyon who made this violation, the decision, he could have avoided the hit.
Oh, yeah.
It was very avoidable.
Absolutely.
He didn't, and that's why he got flagged.
Yeah, so we should have 60-point games every week, right? And not just play defense. Don't hit anybody if that's the case. And
this is why I say it goes back to coaching. A hit like that is going to get flagged.
All right, so explain to me, and this is why I'm in disagreeing with the NFL. Walk me through what a legal hit in that scenario would look like. A legal play to play defense and to try to defend that play. What's the option?
The option, if you see that the guy is diving for the ball, that is a football play that could have been avoided.
So what do you do? I'm just asking, what do you do?
Listen,
it's a bang play. You're there. The ball was there.
It wasn't a bang play.
Yes, it was. It was a bang
on his
bang
feet,
play.
He could avoided it.
It's a bang bang play.
No, it's not a bang bang play.
In baseball, and I brought this up, if two outfielders are in the outfield, they see each other. They don't know who's going after the ball. They dive into each other.
They always call. Whoever has a call.
So you've never seen players dive into each other in baseball?
Rarely happens.
It has happened.
But rarely happens, and you don't get a play. It's not the same.
It's the exact same.
It's not the same because
you cannot
you're not going to get a penalty. Yeah, you can hurt the other guy, but you're not going to get a penalty.
Eliminate violent hits, accidental, like... KZ, you think KZ was trying to knock him out? Let me ask you that.
I think coaching here, if he's coach, and so let me just say this.
Okay, let me just say this. I'm asking you as a coach, what do you tell your player to do in that situation?
If you're a coach, you tell your players, listen, if the guy doesn't have his eyes on you, his eyes are on the ball.
Where are your eyes as a defensive player? Shouldn't it be trying to make a play on the ball also?
But you don't have a play on the ball.
Of course you do.
No, you don't.
But isn't your job to make a play?
You make a play on the receiver.
Okay, don't you try to prevent him for... Okay, explain. So what's the play on the receiver?
So if the receiver is laying out, like this play, like you could see the receiver laying out before he even catches the ball.
Yeah.
And then you can see the Casey looking at the ball, looking at the receiver, looking at the ball, looking at the receiver. And he's
looking at the ball, looking at the receiver, looking at the ball.
Yes.
And, okay, so finish. So, and then what does he do?
You tag him because he's going to do? Get up and...
He's in the air.
No, who's in the air?
The receiver's diving for the ball.
Exactly. All you need to tag him. All you need is tag him.
He has not yet caught the ball.
All you need to do is tag him.
As a defender, what do you do to stop the player from catching the ball? The ball's in the air.
He already gave himself up. It's almost like he's giving himself up.
You cannot give yourself up. This makes no sense.
You
cannot.
Listen, let me say this. If he doesn't catch the ball.
The only time you can give yourself up if you have the ball. He had not. He dove to try to catch the ball. But
he's going to get penalized whether the guy catches the ball or not.
I'm not disagreeing
that's what I'm saying.
I'm not disagreeing with that.
That's what I'm saying. You have a chance to pull up because like you said, he didn't launch himself. He was on his feet. So you have a chance to pull up because the other guy...
let him catch it. But just say it. You let him catch it. You don't make a play to try to prevent
Let
him from
catch
catching
it
ball.
because this is what happens.
Thank you for clearing it up. I
This
just
is what
want you to
happens.
say that. You
Let
want
him catch it.
Okay.
You avoid getting your team penalized.
Okay.
And that's it. It's 10 yards, 15 yards, whatever. Whatever gain it's going to happen from that play.
Okay.
But you don't get penalized. You don't get suspended 3 games. You don't miss $200,000 in fines.
Let's.
Okay, 3, 2, 1. Hi guys, welcome back. We ran out of batteries. Oh, shocker. All right, Ron. Where were we as far as the KZ suspension? We were talking about how I said that he should have caught the ball and just tagged him.
Let him catch it.
You saying that there was no way, or he's not coached for that? What were you saying?
So my point is, your job as a defender is to prevent that from happening, right? It's to
if you can.
Yes.
If you can.
Prevent the player from making a reception.
And what the penalty was that it was avoidable. That was
everything's avoidable.
That was a penalty.
If I'm playing defensive back and a running back is coming at me, I can step out of the way. That's avoidable, isn't it? But
you were not going to get penalized.
The way
you won't penalize the team. I'm not saying act like Pickens and just not block it.
But that's what you're basically saying.
What I'm saying is you hurt your team.
I don't think he
got thrown out. What do you mean he didn't hurt it?
That part doesn't bother me. So there's a lot of things that bother me, and I want to get to it, right? So the rule needs to be modified, right? I think. Because I don't think you can ever make it perfect. There'll never be a perfect rule. There's always gray areas, right? Football is not black and white, it's gray. That's why all these calls are subjective. You got people that are like, oh, I could see this. Or no, this is just wrong. You shouldn't make that call. You got to use referees, officials have to use like some sort of common sense. The question is, with football, do you want the defender just to allow him to catch the ball and then tag him? Then say so. Put that in the rule book. If a guy's diving, then don't make a play. Let him catch the ball and then tag him. Put that specifically, make it black and white. But as a defender, your job is to try to make a play on the ball. That's exactly what he did. Now, should he have hit him in the neck area? Absolutely not. He should get a penalty for that, right? So I'm not disagreeing with that. Here's the things I'm a little upset with. Like, makes no sense. There was a flag on the play. Makes sense, right?
Mm-hmm.
New York decided to come out of the game. Someone from New York called and said he can't go back in the game. Now, how in the hell can someone in New York make that call when the referees and officials don't have a chance to review it on their own and make that determination? In college, that's exactly what happened. They call targeting. The officials on the field get to look at the video and they get to make the call on whether it's targeting, right? Or if it's not, right? So someone in New York within 2 seconds decides to say, oh no, that's not a clean hit, and they boot him in for the game, right? And I guarantee they did that because his name's KZ and he's had other penalties before. Here's the other thing that pisses me off, right? So they suspend him. A lot of back and forth of whether or not it's a clean hit. A lot of players came out. You saw Tom Brady, his response to say, what is the defender supposed to do, basically. Legitimately, it is a clean hit. It's exactly what you're supposed to do. But at the same time, the player is making a play on the ball. He's in the wrong place, wrong time. Accidents happen. Now, here's what I don't like. They came out and suspended him and said, they made him look like a dirty player. Said you've been warned several times, and he has been fined 4 or 5 times, right? Not flags necessarily, but fines after the game. Some of them he's been flagged for, others not. What I don't like is you basically insinuate that he's a dirty player. He's been fined before. He should know better. When all of those fines, I think, except for one, have been rescinded. So you admit, the NFL admits to making a mistake with the fine and rescinding the fine, but you're over here claiming he's basically a dirty player and he should know better. Your rules don't make any sense. Suspending him for 3 games, and on top of that, You say if they go to the postseason, he can't play. So it's potentially up to 7 games if we were to go all the way to Super Bowl. How the hell can you tell me? And I know they put the rules in so players can go in and appeal, which they will, and then it gives them a chance to reduce the fines or whatever, or eliminate it altogether, whatever. I get that. But how the hell can you tell me in your right mind that you can take a player away, take out his paycheck for the rest of the season, when you can't tell me or show me a video or explain what I should do as a defender to stop him from catching the ball? That would be a legal hit in terms of like what I'm able to do. That's all I'm saying.
Well, let's get the facts right. He has been fined 6 times for unnecessary roughness. 5 of them actually
rescinded.
Stayed. No, they stayed because they cost him $59,000 so far. So not everyone has been appealed.
Every single time he's been fined, he is appealed, and they've been 5 of them has been rescinded. 5 out of 6 has been rescinded.
The fact is, after the first one, he should have been like, oh, maybe I need to dial it back. He didn't. He's a habitual line stepper.
If you get a ticket for something, you appeal it, and they say, you know what, you're right.
You didn't go back to speeding?
You know, right?
You go back to speeding?
You're missing my point. You're over talking, but you're not hearing what I'm saying. If you get a ticket, you say I'm speeding. I show you a video that I'm not speeding. The judge agrees with, oh, you're not speeding. They take away your ticket. You can't say you're a habitual speeder. No, that doesn't make any sense.
You get another ticket for speeding, and you go back and you go, no, judge. You see, the video shows that I wasn't speeding.
And the judge agrees with you.
And then
you're innocent.
You're innocent. But every time you have to do that, that's ridiculous.
That's how the NFL set up their rules, right?
Well, then, I think, you know what? I wouldn't be surprised if he doesn't have a job come next year because
give me a break. Come on, man.
He's a habitual line stepper.
Give me a break.
Habitual line stepper.
Right, listen.
The rules are set up.
At the end of the day, here's what we can agree on. Football is not going to be the same. It isn't the same. From when I used to play or when I used to watch it 10, 15, 20, 30 years ago, it's just not the same sport anymore. And it's kind of like baseball where they're like, or basketball, where they're like, go ahead and score 160 points. We don't care about defensive games anymore. We don't want to see 80 to 70 something games. Let's just have, 150 points. Let's make that the norm. Protect the offensive players at all costs, and basically take tackling, any sorts of tackling, out the picture. Take hitting from the game, period.
But you shouldn't be surprised by any of this because, number one, fantasy football ruined football.
I don't think it has anything to do with fantasy.
Yes, it does. Listen, you get both female and male, both genders basically, to play fantasy football. Mm-hmm. You want a high-scoring game so that your fantasy team, even because I know there's people in my life that do not watch NFL at all, but yet play fantasy football. So in order to please that demographic, you have to make the rules more offensive minded.
I don't agree.
Yeah, listen
with that at all.
But then why do you think rules have changed?
Football has the reason the rules have changed, according to the NFL, is for player safety. And I honestly think they are trying to make the game safer, especially now with knowing what they know about concussions. I completely understand that. Certain things need to be banned, absolutely. But at the same time, you got to look at what you're doing. You're basically eliminating every single type of hit on players. You tell them don't hit high. Now, next thing you know, don't hit low. Where is a defender that's 240 something pounds running like a 4.2 40, right? How is he, if he's going full speed, supposed to know I can only hit right here? When the offensive player is jumping, ducking, they get to use stiff arms. They get to do basically any, what are you making the sport into, right? Might as well just take the defense out put flags on them, right? Like you said, and make it flag football.
It's gonna be flag football. This is the thing is like more and more people.
But these players don't sign up for it, right? That's not what they want, right? Of course, they don't. None of them wants to get injured, right? No one's intent is to go out and hurt anyone. But at the same time, that's not the sport they grew up playing.
Yeah, but you're not going. This is the thing is, if you're talking about player safety, and you're not going to sign off on, oh, you know what, this might hurt me long term, but short term, this is going to be great. So let's get rid of the long term and just do the short term. No CBA agreement's going to go with that. They're going to look at the long term. They're going to be like, you know, if you want to play extra, if you want to play a couple of years more, we need to change these rules here. So it's not.
I get that.
Yes.
But there's certain things you have to understand. It's a violent sport. There's going to be injuries. Period. Right. If you're hold on, let me finish.
I know that
it's
you say
all about
it's
player safety. If player safety is important, let's get rid of kickboxing, boxing, NASCAR. Let's get rid of all that stuff. If player safety, that's what it comes down to. Get rid of every contact sport.
Boxing, kickboxing, UCF. Those are niche sports.
What the hell are you talking about?
Do you see kickboxing and UCF and whatever UFC fights on network TV? No, you do not.
It doesn't matter.
Yes, it does.
NASCAR's on regular TV. People die in NASCAR. They literally die. That's what you sign up for, to be a professional. You understand what the risks are, right? Now, if it's gonna turn off people, they don't even show replays. What turns off?
They stopped doing the hitting.
Let me ask you something.
They stopped doing the hitting on ESPN because they were like, you can't promote hitting.
Let me ask you something. You think if they allowed it to be like what it was 10 years ago, would have turned off the NFL? You don't think there'd be a multi-billion-dollar industry right now? They would
think that there's people in charge. There's people in charge of the NFL right now that they look at this not as a football product, but as a product, as something that they can mold and they can sell to the masses. This is what I'm saying is like, there's too much money involved for them to be like, you know what? People can die on live TV. They don't want that. They don't want that. They're going to make whatever the case possible, whatever the rules possible to make it less violent. That's why we're headed towards flag football, because eventually nobody's going to be allowed to touch anyone.
Yeah, well, it's a sad state of affairs.
It is a sad state of affairs, but those are the rules.
With KZ, I like I said, you want to flag him? I get that. Heck, I'm okay with you throwing him out of the game. I just didn't like how it happened. Like, the officials that are there on the field need to be able to like look at a replay, look at as many replays as they need to, and make that decision. That can't come from anywhere. You know, I don't agree with that at all. They're not. You're taking it out of the officiating hand and you're putting in someone in New York, some random person in New York.
Why do you think that's happening?
I have no idea.
Because the NFL is a huge, profitable organization. They're not going to let some three guys on the football field decide.
So some random person that no one knows?
Not a random person. It's some official in the NFL. Okay. It's not like a random person. Someone that knows the rules says, you know what? This guy needs to get kicked out.
Let me tell you something. We can sit here and pretend like the NFL cares about players. You and I both know they do not care about player safety, right?
But they care about the viewers, the television. If they see someone being dirty, like the days of Ronnie Harrison are gone. But those days are gone. If you play safety like that,
playing. There's a difference between
even a dirty play or even a clean play. If it looks violent,
you just said if it looks violent.
Listen, those are the rules.
Which viewer are you talking about? Which viewer?
Those are the rules.
So if it looks violent but it's clean, it's a penalty. If it's a clean hit but it looks violent, you know, if it's a hard hit.
Michael Pittman got up and he left the game, but he was fine.
So if I legally tackle you correctly and it's a violent hit, right? That I should be fine.
And it happens all the time. I should be fine. Every week they throw a flag, and I can see the coach going, "Hey, that was illegal. Why did you throw the flag?" because it looked violent. That's why they threw the flag.
Okay, so you're admitting they're not even following the rule, right?
They are following
That's
the rule.
not the rule. Put it in the rule. You can't have violent hits. That's not
That's
the rule.
why he got kicked out, because the hit was violent.
We're going to agree to disagree. At the end of the day, the officials, we know this for damn sure. They're not following their own damn rule. They're not. They're following whatever the NFL wants them to do. That's not even in the rule book. They can give two shits about anything about player safety, or if they gave a shit about the integrity of the game, then you would hire your goddamn referees full time and you would fine them for making fucking mistakes, right? When they blow calls,
they are full time. They are full time.
I think they're part time. I don't think they're full time.
No, they are full time.
Either way,
this is school.
When they make a mistake, find their asses, okay, and make that shit public, right? When you blow a goddamn call like you do every single freaking time I turn the TV on, any game, they're blowing calls left and right at the end of the game. I want to see those guys fined. I want to see them thrown out the league too. Then I know that you care about the integrity of the game or player safety. Give me a freaking break. I don't want to hear.
That's not going to happen.
I don't want to hear anything from the NFL about
the NFL. Those referees work for the NFL. They don't work for the individual teams.
That's my point.
They work for the NFL, so they're not going to get criticized.
That's my point.
They're not going to get criticized.
They're protecting their brand. That's all it is. It just comes down to money at the end of the day. We're not disagreeing on that, but it's just a sad state of affairs. And the thing is, and I know this just from working where I work, right? And dealing with HR. You have to write, but everything has to be black and white. You got to make it black and white so you can hold your people accountable. But we don't live in a society that's just black and white. It's just there's so many gray areas. You got to allow for some subjectivity, and here we are. So that's basically, there's nothing you can do about it.